And welcome to Too Many Movies, the podcast where we discuss DVDs, Blu-rays, and even the occasional VHS tape. I'm your host, Tal, and with me here today, James.
Whoa, who's James? I've never heard of this individual before.
And it's just you today, right? I only see you.
Just me. There is no one else around. Who? Oh, no! Who's what?
I got you. It's me. Man. I'm Jess.
Wow, you scared me in the same way that the character in Holidaze scared another character. But let's not get
so true.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though.
I don't even remember that happening, but
I am just like Trick from Holidaze, the year Christmas almost didn't happen. That's literally me.
That's so true. Wow.
But yeah, I'm Jess.
Yep, and I'm James, the Schaffrillas guy, the guy with the crab.
The lavender whale woman, the woman with the whale.
Yes.
Yeah, and you guys are here today to talk about a couple of Christmas specials. I say we get right into that. I figured we'd start with Year Without a Santa Claus. I'm actually kind of excited because of the way James described how he wanted to talk about Year Without a Santa Claus for this one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have a bit of beef with Year Without a Santa Claus. It's not like anything major, like I don't hate it or anything, but it's just like, see, the thing is, I never grew up with this one. Like, I grew up watching Rudolph every Christmas. But like I'd never seen Year Without a Santa Claus until like maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and I just watched it and I was like, because with no nostalgic frame of reference, I just watched it and was like, wow, this story is like really not good, and the whole, I don't know, the special's a little like boring. I mean, I hate to say that because it's like, you know, incredible animation and like clearly made with like love and everything, but I don't know. It's just like I don't really care about a lot of the stuff in this special, like the characters or the story. I feel like this special is only really remembered and well known for 2 characters in particular. Any guesses on who those are?
Ignatius and his mother.
That's correct.
I was gonna say the mother. Yeah, absolutely, the most memorable chin in animation.
Yes, obviously. But yeah, I can go more into thoughts on it later. But Jess, you can say any thoughts you have too.
I actually did grow up with Year Without a Santa Claus, so I just really loved it as a kid. And then I watched it again when I was in college, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. This story is just like complete nonsense.
See, you get it.
I didn't realize it when I was like 5, but maybe they actually didn't need to like literally make it snow in Southtown just because the mayor used a figure of speech. Maybe this could have been a Prison Break movie instead, with them getting Dancer or whoever as honor out of the pound.
Vixen.
Vixen, yeah, that one.
I would pay to watch that. That sounds great.
We do need more Christmas heist movies. I agree.
Yeah. Is Red One a heist movie? I haven't seen it.
Well, that's heist cinema, James. Okay, there's a difference.
That's true.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. I'm. It's weird. I'm kind of in the middle because I half grew up with this, half didn't. It's one we didn't own growing up, so I didn't watch it often, but I do remember being aware of it growing up. And I'm probably in the same boat as Jess, where I'm just like, yeah, I liked it as a kid, and then watching it again as an adult, you realize, wait a minute, some of this doesn't make no sense. It is very dumb. It is a very dumb story because it's the title is false advertising. First of all, Year Without a Santa Claus. But he, spoiler alert, he ends up doing Christmas anyway. So it's like, you flat out lied.
I guess they should have titled it The Year That Christmas Almost Didn't Happen.
Yeah, wow. How about that?
Yeah, and then, well, actually has there ever been a Christmas special where it threatens that Christmas might not happen, and then it doesn't happen? Like, I feel like every Christmas special that does that, it ends up being, no, Christmas actually happens. It's okay.
Yeah, like you, I don't think you can like have it end with Christmas not happening. Because then, like, kids are gonna get really upset. They'll be like, "Mommy, I don't remember Christmas not happening. When did that happen?"
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's
Way
actually, like,
long
real.
back before you were born.
Well,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
I mean, that's what how this movie angles it. They're just like, "Do you remember the time when Santa took a year off?" And it's like, "Well, no." And then they say, "Well, it happened before you were born." It's like, how long ago was
Oh.
that?
That's what I was referencing, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can't argue with that then.
Yeah. Well, it happened so long ago, nobody remembers because we don't write down history. That we don't do that.
That's true. Yeah. So true.
So if nobody remembers it, how is Mrs. Claus telling us about it?
Yeah, wait a second. See, the story doesn't add up. That's what you were saying.
She's senile because she thinks she's on a cooking show. Oh, wait, no, that's the other special. Never mind.
Yeah. Why are they so easy to mix up?
No, but I mean, so I understand where you're coming from, James. I think I think it is overhyped to the degree that they love it purely because of two characters as opposed to the actual story. Because, the Santa Claus in this one is Mickey Rooney, who was Santa Claus in a different Rankin Bass special. And so they're just kind of reusing him. And so the Santa doesn't really stand out among other Santas. He's just always he's just complaining a lot more, where he's just like, I'm really sick.
Yeah, it's true. It's like one of the lamest depictions of Santa I think I've seen in anything, honestly.
Yeah. And then the kid is just this weird he has no character, because he kind of starts to have a character at the beginning when we first meet him, and he actually establishes, I don't really believe in Santa, it's kid stuff, which okay, another tangent. So he doesn't believe in Santa, but the media has a frenzy where they say Santa is taking a holiday.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, is Santa real? What is happening here?
I don't know. I feel like that's a weird thing in a lot of like Christmas specials. Because I don't want to get ahead of myself, but in Holidaze, the kid is like, I don't believe in Santa either, but like he says that to a talking reindeer. Like, hello.
Yeah. I brought this up on last episode with William, how that never makes sense. How in like movies and shows where they're just like, Santa's not real, but then I guess the parents just don't realize when there's double the presents on Christmas Day. It's a dumb trope in Christmas movies.
It really is, yeah.
And it makes even less sense here because, again, the media there's literally a plot point where they go, the media is freaking out, Santa's taking a holiday. It's like, okay, so the media is saying that Santa exists, but this kid is just like, no, Santa doesn't exist. That's all, kid stuff.
Yeah, I don't get it. He's a Santa denier.
He's a Santa denier. You can't believe the mainstream media hoax about Santa.
Exactly.
That's the thing with these Christmas movies. They always treat believing in Santa as a political issue.
Yeah.
Man. So, but yeah, he starts off kind of cool and not believing in Santa, but then his parents and Santa bully him through a song where they're just like, you fucking idiot, Santa exists. Literally, I realized that I've been thinking about this ever since I was a kid. Like, I always thought it was weird when they're singing that song and the dad remembers a memory where he's like, I didn't believe in Santa Claus when I was a kid. And then he came to me in my sleep and said, so you don't believe in Santa, eh? It's like, that. Look, you can sing it all charmingly as you want. This is kind of creepy.
Yeah. Like, I didn't even think about that. I was too distracted by like all the other nonsense going on in the special.
Yeah, but then then the mom and the dad and Santa are all just like ganging up on the kid by singing like, yeah, we believe in Santa Claus, why don't you? And then the kid literally starts crying at the end. So he's like, well, I guess I believe in Santa Claus because of peer pressure. It's like, what is this special? Like, why are we teaching kids this?
I don't know.
Maybe Santa Claus is more like a metaphor for like the joy and beauty of the world.
I mean,
that teaching you to believe in that.
I mean, that should be how they should be going about it. But the irony is that Santa Claus is real in this universe.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like we should be teaching kids that. Yeah, you're not teaching that Santa's a real entity, a real being, but more so like the spirit of Christmas. Yeah.
be instead of telling the kid, you know, hey, I had this vision where I saw Santa, you could be like, okay, here's a press release where Santa spoke to the reporter of these newspapers and announced that he wasn't going to travel.
Instead of being like, no, son, don't worry, Santa's real. He came to me one night and threatened me. It's like,
Yeah, source, just trust me, son.
I haven't forgotten it. Trust me.
Yeah.
So. And then then the elves go to the mayor to convince the mayor of Southtown. So it's just a coincidence that the elves end up in Southtown, and then Santa chasing after them also ends up in Southtown, and they lose the reindeer to the dog catcher because the dog catcher doesn't know what a reindeer is. I guess because it's a southern dog catcher, but also he thinks it's a dog.
Yeah, which is another thing.
That's a thing that happens in Holidaze.
Wow.
They're so original.
We didn't do this on purpose, by the way. I just was like, hey, what's a random thing we could talk about with Holidaze? Oh, Year Without Santa Claus. Why not?
Yeah.
But Holidaze rips off a lot of Christmas movies.
It does. Yeah, it's very blatant about it, but not yet, Minion. Not yet.
Yeah. Oh boy. One thing I really like about this is how the whole motivation to make it snow in Southtown is to get the reindeer back.
Yep.
But then like Santa just comes and pays to get the reindeer back already. So what they're doing is completely pointless.
Yeah.
Like what a great story.
Yeah. Yeah, it's completely pointless. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I get why they're doing it, so they have an excuse to go to the two best characters in the movie, the Miser brothers.
True.
I'm trying to get all like the beginning stuff out of the way, so then we can eventually talk about the Miser brothers, because that's the thing. The Miser brothers are the most memorable part of this movie, but there's a lot of setup to them in the first half. Because I mean, the movie is called Year Without a Santa Claus. It should be about the idea of Santa being sick and how the characters deal with that. But then the second half, it just turns into them, we got to go visit the Miser brothers, these two original characters we've come up for this story.
How did they even come up with the Miser brothers? They don't seem like the sort of villains that belong in this type of movie.
No, it's entirely random.
Yeah.
They came up with the idea of the Miser brothers where they're just like, a super cold guy and a super hot guy. It's like, just throw it in Year Without a Santa Claus script. I don't know.
Yeah, like who cares? Whatever.
But they do end up being the most memorable part because they are striking characters. You know, the whole opposites attract kind of thing.
Yeah, like every criticism I have of Year Without a Santa Claus, like none of that applies to the Miser brothers. Like I get it. I really get why they're so popular. Their songs are really memorable and catchy. Just they have great designs. Like, yeah, honestly, like I fully support the Miser brothers. I don't know.
I fully support the Miser brothers.
Yeah, their banner's great. Speaking of the songs, though, I wanted to mention that, like, aside from the Miser brothers songs, I really don't like many of the other songs in this. Like, I mean, Mrs. Claus has the song at the beginning where she's like,
anyone can be Santa.
yeah, and that kind of like goes nowhere. Like that whole plot point is just like doesn't go anywhere. Like she's just like, I can be Santa if I wanted to, and then like
she doesn't.
Yeah, and then like the elf comes in and she's like, oh, I guess you don't think I'm Santa. Okay, I'm gonna give up on that for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, why wasn't that the story? Like I feel like that would be the natural story to, we have a year where Santa's too sick, so we have to have Mrs. Claus take over. Huh?
Yeah.
Like why wasn't that the story?
That's a great question. And then instead it like focuses on those two random elves who I
Jingle and Jangle.
Yeah, I didn't even remember their names. I don't like the elves very much at all.
What makes Jingle the number one elf? He always, whenever he introduces himself, he's like, Jingle, I'm Jingle, the number one elf, or something like that. It's like,
yeah, he seems very incompetent.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't think they had a song.
No.
The Santa, they sang the song to bully the child. That wasn't very good.
I believe in Santa Claus.
Yeah, that
and you should too, you punk ass kid.
Yeah. I don't remember like any others.
There's the mayor singing like it's gonna snow in Southtown, even though he doesn't believe the elves' story that they're from the North Pole, and yet he still goes out and it's just like, hey everybody, it's gonna snow in Southtown. Like wait, huh?
Huh? Like I don't know.
gonna snow, ho ho, right here in Dixie.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah, they don't even say. They don't even say. They don't say Southtown. They say Dixie.
Yeah, like keep your story straight. I don't know, but like I don't know. It's like part of me feels like I'm being too mean, like just like hyper analyzing the plot of this.
Yeah, of a movie for babies.
Yeah, but then it's like I think of Rudolph though, and like everything in Rudolph like flows together and makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like that holds up. So like compare, like if that's the standard, then like comparatively, yeah, I think this one kind of falters.
I still likes this one better than Rudolph as a kid because Rudolph doesn't have the Miser brothers.
Okay, well that's fair. Yeah, that's a good point.
Fair enough. But yeah, the misers are easily the best part. I mean, I'm more partial to Snow Miser myself. Honestly, purely because he's voiced by comedian Dick Shawn, who is one of the funniest people ever. Like, he's LSD in the original Producers from 1967. He's also in It's a Mad Mad World. And he's just a really famous comedian. The way he died is kind of morbidly funny. He was doing stand-up in the 80s because it was like I want to say the late 80s, and he just fell off stage and people thought that was part of the act, but then they realized he died of a heart attack on stage.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think that's how the story goes.
Yeah, it's quite a way to go out.
Yeah. Which is the true comedian's way.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, his voice acting is great in this. Like Snow Miser, I think is my favorite too. He's just he's so cool.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah, I like how he's like looks like he's like an evil guy, but he's like so chill and friendly.
Yeah.
No pun again.
Yeah, that's true. Like he's definitely the more reasonable of the two.
I like how he just calls Mrs. Claus how he calls Santa Mrs. Claus's hubby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you and your hubby stop by and we'll have a blizzard?
Whoa.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he really gets into the role. So yeah, I mean, I've grown to like Heat Miser because I think it is funny just how much of a hothead asshole he is, because that's the point.
Yeah.
But I think I just find Snow Miser just more likable.
And I like Mother Nature too, even though she's barely in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like Enlister.
I do like how the ultimate way to solve the movie's problems is, we have to go to their mom.
Yeah. Don't make me call your
mother.
Yeah. Classic. Okay, I wanted to mention, I've never seen it, but I did want to bring up the live action Year Without a Santa Claus movie.
I was debating watching that before this, because there's like a 2008 sequel Rankin Bass special that that's about the Miser brothers. I couldn't find it anywhere, but then I looked it up. There is a live action remake of Year Without a Santa Claus that it looks like an actual remake because it's like an hour and a half. It has John Goodman as Santa, and it has the Miser brothers. It even has a kid named Iggy, so it's like, wow, they're actually going full on remake with this. I couldn't find it either, so I just didn't have time to watch it. But why that movie specifically would you do a live action remake of?
I don't know, because brands recognition, because like people like the Miser brothers.
I guess so. But yeah, I'm thinking like out of all the Rankin Bass specials, not that I would want a live action Rankin Bass special. In fact, that sounds like a horrible idea. I'd never do that. I mean, they already did, but why this one?
I don't know. Yeah, like Rudolph would make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
If you're going to make a live action cash grab just because people like the Miser brothers, why do the original story? Why not make like a live action prequel series about the Miser brothers?
I don't know.
Probably because they were too lazy to write a new script.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anything to go off of Christmas specials, is that the script writing is usually very lazy.
Yeah, that's true. Because they don't really need to like try. They're just like, oh, let's make a story about Santa and elves and reindeer, and it's like the kids will eat that up. So it's like, why try that hard with the story?
When you've seen as many Christmas specials as I have, you start to notice a lot of similarities.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I wanted to bring up the live action one because I find it funny that like Harvey Fierstein plays Heat Miser, and then Michael McKean plays Snow Miser. Michael McKean, famous as Chuck McGill, and also Sarouche in The Hunchback of Notre Dame too.
We snuck it in there.
Yeah, I just find it funny that he's
Yeah.
playing Snow. But like that's the only thing that's like mildly intriguing me to check this out. But like I still never have.
Yeah.
Like I don't care that much.
Yeah, if it was on Tubi, I would have seen it by now, but it's not one of those Tubi dump movies. Like I actually have to put in effort to find it.
I could kiss me, but I'd fall in love. Oh, Sarouche.
Yeah.
I can't believe that movie's real, but I can believe it because we.
Wow. What a trip that was.
What a travesty, I would say, but yes,
Yeah.
we're both right.
I will say, Year Without a Santa Claus better than Hunchback 2. I know.
True.
Bold claim.
That's pretty spicy there, James, but I'm gonna have to get behind you on that one.
Better songs too, I'd say.
Yeah, I can agree.
We have the boldest takes on this podcast.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like
I
we
don't know.
said, the ending, he ends up going to he ends up going out on Christmas Eve anyway, Santa Claus. So
Yeah.
Yep.
the whole movie was entirely pointless.
Wait a minute, I just remembered he ends up going out on Christmas Eve because that one girl sang Blue Christmas.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
this one stupid child sends him a letter boo-hooing, being like, "I'm so sad you won't be out on Christmas." He's like, "Oh, well, I can't let this one little girl down." It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Like, why didn't he like realize that ahead of time that people would be upset? Like he didn't think about that until he actually like physically gets a letter. It's like, oh wait a minute.
Well, because like he was sad at the beginning where he's like, "No, I can't be sick. I'm Santa Claus." But then
He
at
was
the
sad.
end, he gets a letter saying, "Hey, I'm gonna miss you," and he's like, "Damn, they're gonna miss me." It's like,
He was sad because he thought nobody believed in him anymore.
okay, yeah.
Oh.
Wouldn't it have been a better, like, story-wise, if the one who wrote him the letter at the end was Ignatius, who didn't believe in him anymore, and now he's showing that, like, now I do?
Yeah.
Well,
that would have made more sense.
You don't even need a letter. Just have Ignatius be like, "Wow, I honestly believe in you now, Santa," or something. And he's like, "Wow, they do believe in me." And then, like, yeah, we didn't need this random little girl singing the fucking Elvis Blue Christmas song.
Yeah, they didn't even write an original song for that part.
I don't know. It feels like they just like wrote down whatever they felt like for the story, and then they didn't like bother to think like, wait, wouldn't this work better? Or, like, should we change this? Like they just like went with a first draft of the story and then just rolled with it.
I mean, when you make a Christmas special every year, I guess maybe you're kind of limited to
Yeah.
just a year's production.
Well, like,
That is
stop
true.
motion animation takes so much time and care and precision. Why
Yeah.
was that level of time and care and precision not in the writer's room?
Well, they
Oh,
only
they
had
were-
3 seconds to write it on a napkin, Jess.
Yeah. They were on that grind set. They had to get it out the next year.
Yeah.
Alright.
The writing process is January, and then the animation process is February to November.
Yeah,
Alright.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. What a strange special.
Yeah. Talking about it out loud now, it really does reinforce just how strange of a special this is. I kind of like it for that. I think that makes it far more funnier in my eyes, but I can understand this not really being somebody's cup of tea, as you were saying. It's a little too weird and a little too broken, and the only
Yeah.
really truly redeeming qualities of it are the Miser brothers.
Yeah, like I wouldn't mind if it was like weird and like I don't know, all over the place. If it was at least like entertaining throughout
Mhm.
most of it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I really just don't find it that interesting until we get to the Miser brothers.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yes, some parts of it are, but yeah, for the
I mean,
most part, I agree. I still like it though.
Well, you know what? I'll say for this what I said for the bad guys. The animation was very good. That's my go-to phrase.
It's a
When I-
good go-to, I must say.
Yep.
But yeah,
Plus, it's hard to be bored when the special's not even like that long.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not like
it's like what, 50
it's not
minutes?
Yeah, it's not painful to sit through or anything. It's just a little uninteresting for a lot of it.
Sure. Yeah, not my favorite Rankin Bass special. I am more of a Rudolph head, but I can
Yeah.
definitely say this is one I won't mind revisiting every year.
Yeah, I can definitely find enjoyment in it a lot of the time.
Where do you guys stand on Santa Claus is coming to town?
I'd probably like that one better because I actually grew up with it.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with it. I think I only watched it like one time a couple years ago, but I think I liked it better. I don't remember.
I
But
feel
Rudolph's my favorite.
I feel like it is more of a consistent story. I mean, it's a bit weird at
Mhm.
times, as are all Rankin Bass specials. I can't really think of one that's perfect. I mean, I say that.
Mhm.
I love Rudolph so much, though, but that's because I'm easily biased through nostalgia. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think Santa Claus is Coming to Town has more going with it. It's not just, oh, we have a couple interesting characters. Like, I think Santa is an interesting character in that one. I think even his fucking penguin sidekick is really cool, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one has a lot of pretty good songs, not just like
To
two
true,
good songs
yeah.
pairing in the movie and they're the same song.
Yeah, I can name you all the songs in Santa Claus is Coming to Town, whereas I can't really do the same for Year Without a Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up with both of them, and as a kid, I liked Year Without a Santa Claus more, but Santa Claus is Coming to Town, I don't know. I like that one too. And it also kind of felt like it was my movie because Mrs. Claus has the same name as me.
That's right,
Yeah.
Jessica.
Woo.
Yeah.
Which is such a modern name to be in this like old German town.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the weird thing with the Santa Claus is Coming to Town. How it's just like, yeah, back in the day, it's like, okay, how far back? Because how long was Santa not a thing?
Yeah, true. I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember a lot of Santa Claus is Coming to Town, but I looked it up to refresh my memory, and I just want to mention that Burgermeister Meisterburger is like the best character name of all time.
Yeah.
That's so good. But yeah, I think I need to rewatch this one sometime this month, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will gladly watch it with you.
Yeah, because I think I do remember liking it, but I just like I don't know. For some reason, I don't remember much about it.
Well, then, come Easter time, you guys got to watch The Easter Bunny is Coming to Town, the spiritual sequel.
Oh yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god! So obviously, I guess Santa Claus is Coming to Town was a big hit for Rankin Bass. So much so that years later, in 1977, they did the same treatment. They actually got Fred Astaire back to because he narrated the Santa Claus is Coming to Town. He narrated the Easter Bunny is Coming to Town, and they did an Easter special. And it's basically the same thing where they're just explaining the origins of the Easter Bunny and the origins of all like the Easter traditions, similar to how they did the Christmas traditions origins in Santa Claus. But it's weird because a lot of the traditions you're like, is that a thing? Like they're just like they explain like, oh, so that's why they roll eggs down the hill. It's like, is that a thing? Or like, oh, that's why they wear funny hats to church on Sundays. It's like, what? Wait a minute. It's doing a lot of stretching. But I highly recommend it because it is batshit insane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Easter just doesn't have as consistent lore.
No.
Yeah, they're just making up their own lore pretty much.
No, the best Easter special is Critters 2. So
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say the best Easter special is Hop, obviously. My favorite movie.
yeah, yours and
Ooh.
Puff's favorite movie.
Yeah, obviously.
But yeah, A Year Without a Santa Claus. I don't technically own it on DVD. It's more in the family collection of Christmas specials. And it's a weird DVD because it's a DVD that comes with 2 extra Rankin Bass specials. So it comes with Rudolph's Shiny New Year and Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey. But the DVD's weird because Rudolph's Shiny New Year won't play properly. Like I started and it just glitches out and goes back to the menu. And Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey sucks. It's not a very good Rankin Bass special. So if I ever own Year Without a Santa Claus, I want it on a DVD that's not that comes with those 2 specials.
Yeah, that's fair.
We can move on to Holidaze.
Woo!
Oh man.
So I gotta explain this one because this one's my fault.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never heard of it before you.
Yeah,
told
no.
us to
So
watch it.
obviously, I wanted you guys on an episode to talk about a special. I was like, you guys can talk about whatever you want, and then I thought I should come up with something. Maybe I'll come up with something wholesome, something that we all like. But then I looked at my collection. And I'm like, no, this podcast is about me making my friends watch the most random shit, and so I just pulled out Holidaze, the Christmas that almost didn't happen. So the reason I have this on DVD is I think I got this from a house I used to so my job for like a couple years back was I was tasked with helping clean people's houses and organize all their shit. And so a lot of the time people had like DVDs and Blu-ray collections, and I'd just be like, hey, can I take this? And they'd be like, please get this the fuck out of my house. Yes. And so I would just find the most random shit. And I'm pretty sure that's where I got this movie. I just found it one day. I'm like, well, I've never seen it. I should probably watch it. And well, here we are now. I've watched it, and oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not good.
Yeah, I think that's a good. Yeah. Yeah. So we just watched it last night for the first time. I remember you were like really laughing very hard at something in the first 10 minutes, and I was like, "Why are you laughing so hard at that?" Like, I forget what joke it was, but it wasn't really that funny.
Yeah, please explain to me, because there was a lot of jokes in this, and they weren't funny.
Yeah. I mean, to its credit, there were some that I kind of liked, some I chuckled at, but nothing that made me laugh as hard as you laughed in the first 10 minutes. Like, do you have any idea what joke that was?
I forgot.
All I remember was I didn't think it was funny. So yeah.
I'm sure if I like looked over the movie and like scrubbed to the 10-minute timestamp and like looked around, I could figure out what it was. But
yeah, I mean, I think the fact that you can't remember really says a lot about this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Okay, well, it like has I don't even know where to start. It has like none of its own identity, really. It's like everything is lifted from other Christmas specials. It's like, oh, this is Rudolph's neglected brother that nobody talks about.
Yeah, Rufus.
And yeah.
Rusty.
No, Rusty.
Rusty, yeah.
I forgot the main character's name.
To be fair, I did too.
Yeah.
And then it's like he has to go to the big city. Like it's like, oh, it's just Elf. Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, here's
and then a dog catcher chases him, and it's like, oh, this is Year Without a Santa Claus.
Oh yeah. And then the kid doesn't believe in Santa, just like in Year Without a Santa Claus. But then also, he's like, here's my business card for my Uncle Herbie. He's the dentist. It's like, oh wow, it's Rudolph.
Which is
It's
weird
like,
because I'm pretty sure the elf in Rudolph is named Hermie. Is it not?
Yeah.
Honestly, I've heard both. I've heard both Herbie and Hermie throughout the years with Rudolph, but I guess these people believe it's actually Herbie. But I mean,
honestly, that kind of made me a little bit mad. Like, oh, you're really gonna try and connect to Rudolph? Like, seriously?
Like, this is not part of the lore.
Yeah. Well, because
I don't know.
Yeah, because it's weird because they hype up because they never say Rudolph, but they imply that Rusty is Rudolph's brother. And they even have a dad character bragging about Rudolph. It's like, okay, is that dad character Donner? Because Donner is Rudolph's father in the original. But that's not made explicitly clear.
But yeah, Donner is like one of the elves that pulls Santa's sleigh, though, right?
Right.
Elves?
I mean, reindeer. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, also, yeah,
Like melts in my brain.
the elves are not the same design. So that's another hole.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, to bring up the whole Rudolph angle, this is a similar joke in the Christmas special Robbie the Reindeer, which is a British short from 1999. It's called Robbie the Reindeer Hooves of Fire. It is one of the funniest Christmas specials I've ever seen. I highly recommend you guys look it up. The British version, not the American dub with Ben Stiller. That one is awful. Sorry.
Okay.
But that has a similar thing because Robbie, the main character of that, is the son of Rudolph. but they do a similar
Oh.
joke. They do a similar running gag where they don't explicitly say Rudolph. Like there'll be times when they're about to say Rudolph and they'll just go Rue, and one of the characters just covers their mouth saying, "Don't say his name."
Okay,
but
like why?
well, because it's Blitzen is the main villain, voiced by Steve Coogan. And he's just evil, and he doesn't like that Rudolph got all the fame, but he's still pulling Santa's sleigh, and so he wants to he wants to ruin Robbie's chances of being on the team, and he does. But then there's a whole reindeer game subplot. I'm not doing it justice, but I highly recommend people watch it. It's one of the funniest fucking things ever. I quote it all the time.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested now.
It is far funnier than this. It is also stop motion. Which is weird because I saw some of the special features on this DVD for Holidaze, and one of the things one of the producers says is like, "Oh yeah, we made this because there hasn't been a stop motion animation Christmas special in close to 30 years." It's like, okay, no, that's wrong. You're wrong because what was this? 2006, 30 years ago would have been 1976. Rankin Bass made specials well into the 80s, and then there was Robbie the Reindeer in 1999, so that's just a flat-out lie.
I don't know. Wow, you're telling me you can't trust the creative team behind Holidaze? That's crazy. Who can you trust?
Exactly. But
Man.
anyway, yeah, no, you guys are nailing it where you say like this is basically extracting elements from other more popular Christmas specials, and even Christmas specials that aren't that popular, because I doubt most people know what Robbie the Reindeer is. But
Yeah,
that is a special that does that kind of running gag far better.
yeah. I would say I also just did not like the character designs in this. Like, I don't know, it felt like stop motion South Park almost, and it just didn't fit like a Christmas setting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just hated looking at it.
Rusty looked kind of funny to me. I don't know. That helped some of the jokes. I think I might have laughed at something he said at the I'm like looking on my phone right now, trying to find the part.
She's like trying to find the joke.
I'm trying to find the part that made me laugh, and I can't.
Yeah.
Trying to find the funny.
You're trying so desperately to find this one joke, and it's probably not that funny.
It wasn't. I remember.
I had a similar thing, because the one thing I laughed at in this movie is when Rusty's talking to the kid, and he says like, "Oh yeah, just look like Santa's real and all that," and then he talks about how like the naughty and nice list is like this computer now that you can just buy on the internet, and so it cuts to a scene when the kid is on the internet at home, and he just finds the machine on the internet, and he goes, "Oh my god, he's real." It doesn't sound funny at all, but in the moment I was crying laughing from just how absurd that buildup was. And now truly thinking about it, yeah, that wasn't that funny, but I guess I was just so desperate to find something funny in this movie that I just would take anything.
Yeah, I have to admit, there was a thing that made me laugh extremely hard, like so hard I couldn't breathe.
The PSP?
No. Okay, that's one thing. That was
the
okay.
PSP shout out was bizarre. Now, given context, this came out in 2006. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But it's just so funny hearing Rusty be like, "What are you playing?" And the kid goes, "A PSP." It's like, whoa, that takes me back.
Yeah, but like the thing about that, okay, that's not the thing I found really funny. We'll
Okay.
get to that. But the PSP scene is so funny though, because it keeps going. Like he's like, "Wow, a PSP! Whoa, that's so cool! You're playing a PSP! Whoa!" He says like PSP 10 times in 1 minute, and it's like, wow. I wonder if this is an advertisement.
They really wanted that Sony brand deal.
Yeah, it's just like, why does he say it so much?
The PSP was going to be the next DS, man.
Obviously, yeah. And then there was also the Campbell's bit.
Oh.
Like, Mrs. Claus is just making soup, but it's just Campbell's soup.
See,
it's like, wow.
See, that's a joke that I thought could work, where it's like Mrs. Claus is senile, where she thinks she's on a cooking show, but it's just one guy, helping her to pretend that she's on a cooking show. But they don't really go anywhere with that joke. They don't do anything with it. They're just like, "Oh, Mrs. Claus she thinks she's on a cooking show, but she's really not." It's like, okay, can we expand upon that? Because that could be funny.
I don't know. Yeah.
This movie introduces way too many characters.
Yes, I was gonna say we haven't talked about some of the characters in this because I want to I felt like we should build up to them a little bit, but
the movie certainly
course,
doesn't.
Yeah. So Rusty of course comes across random other holiday characters like the Easter Bunny, I guess, the Cupid,
the turkey,
the turkey,
Thanksgiving,
and then Trick and Treat, who are just completely like original characters, I guess.
Yeah.
Who represent Halloween.
Yeah,
by Emily Osment and Brenda Song.
Yeah, there's a lot of Disney Channel stars in this one.
Yeah, and then like the kid is voiced by Cole and Dylan Sprouse.
Both twins. Yeah.
Why did they waste real voice actors on these roles?
Well, that's.
Also,
I was just gonna say that's weird to me because they have both Dylan and Cole Sprouse voice the kid. It's like, okay, when you use twins for the same character, isn't that more so for like, babies in movies where they're babies, you don't really recognize them? I feel like that would be kind of confusing having two kids voice one character.
Yeah, like why do you need to switch between two different like voice actors? Like why does it matter that they're twins? It's just like they're doing a voice, like they're not appearing on screen at the same time.
I'm sure. Wasn't Zack and Cody a thing by 2006? Like, wouldn't that be incredibly distracting? Where you're thinking, okay, so both kids are voicing the same character. Why not just have them be twins in the movie?
I don't know.
More animation, I guess.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up. I'm looking at the cast right now, and it's the character that Cole and Dylan Sprouse voice is just called Kid. Like he doesn't. I didn't realize this. He doesn't have a name. It didn't even occur to me watching the movie that we never knew his name.
It's just like in Blood Debts, Mark's wife.
Yeah, it's like he's just you see, he's meant to represent like every kid, like the average kid. So giving him a name would like ruin that, ruin the magic,
ruin the metaphor, right?
Yeah. So clearly, this movie is brilliant beyond our recognition.
Brilliant children's film.
Yeah. Okay, but the thing that I laughed really hard at involves the turkey character and how I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, here. I do.
The scene where the turkey character says he wants to use a time machine to go back to 1776 to make Ben Franklin make turkey the national bird. It's like my brain just like snapped in half at that. I think like just hearing a turkey talk about a time machine. It's like this was like how many 7 years before Freebirds?
Literally 7 years before Freebirds. Yeah, we truly have Freebirds brain rot where we're just you involve a turkey in a time machine and you've already written a joke for us.
Exactly. Like I lost it. I was literally doing the Leo pointing meme. I was like I just like lost my shit. I couldn't breathe.
Well, because like
it's not even like a funny joke outside of the context of Freebirds.
Yeah. If you don't know what Freebirds is, you won't find the joke funny because it's not funny.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, literally when he was just like, I'm gonna build a time machine, I go, oh no. And then he's like, but I'm going to go back to 1776, ask Ben Franklin to make me the national bird. And that got me on a tangent where I'm like, wait a minute, is that real? Turns out that's a myth. Ben Franklin didn't actually go to Congress and ask for the turkey to be the national bird. That's more of like a myth somebody made up. I looked it up. It was actually really interesting. But Ben Franklin still wasn't a fan of the bald eagle being the national bird for America. But obviously he was outvoted because, well, it kind of became the biggest thing for American icons.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, maybe it should have been the turkey,
Perhaps.
Then Harlan.
Eagles are like immoral was his argument.
Yeah, there was like that's exactly what he said. It was like they have like bad moral code. And I'm like, how many eagles have you met that have a bad moral code? What do you?
Yeah,
I've never even seen an eagle IRL, let alone be able to judge their character.
What is he talking about? I don't know.
Ben Franklin was a kooky kook.
Yep, true. But anyway, back to Holidaze.
A movie that used a time machine to rip off a movie that didn't exist yet.
Yeah, because they use time travel to
Yeah.
look into the future and see Freebirds.
Listen,
So
listen. They didn't know what they had with the time machine joke. That's why they said the
Yeah,
Ben Franklin
exactly.
thing. Whereas then Jimmy Hayward saw this and was like, "Wait a minute, I can do better than that."
Yeah,
And then
this,
he did.
This movie walked so Freebirds could run.
This movie stumbled onto its face so Freebirds could run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think we've talked about how bad the story is. It's
It's
Misty is like he's like sad that nobody likes him or like thinks he's helpful. So he just goes to the big city and then he just like dicks around for like an hour and like doesn't really accomplish anything. Like it's like how can he be a more popular guy? And then the ghost girls are like, "Oh, how about we get our boyfriends to write you a song?" And then they just like waste like 5 minutes writing these terrible songs, and it's like that doesn't work.
no.
Oh, and then, you know what pisses me off though? The Christmas pageant scene. It's like, "Oh, Rusty, I'm gonna make you a big star in this Christmas pageant." Like the Easter Bunny says that, and then the other dog comes back who was supposed to play the camel, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, Rusty, you're out of the pageant now." Like hello, like, and then she's like, "Oh, wow, that didn't work out." It's because you kicked him out. Like, hello, why can't there be two camels? Like that really got me upset watching this.
I know.
I was like, it's her fault that
It was.
he didn't get a chance to be in the pageant.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I mean, like you said, there's really no story here. It's just Rusty going around. Yeah, because his issue, his problem at the beginning is that nobody likes him. And it's like, okay, well, you don't really like Rusty doesn't have a character other than he's in the shadow of his brother. And he doesn't have any characteristics or
never see.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I get that as a joke, like, oh, Rudolph is so popular, we don't actually see him, and you don't actually mention him. I guess maybe because Rudolph is copyrighted, and the creators of this movie didn't have the copyright for Rudolph, so they're just like, well, we can't actually technically say Rudolph, so we're gonna be sly about it, but it's obvious that it's Rudolph.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pulling that out of my ass. I actually have no idea why they don't mention Rudolph by name.
What gets me about it is that the reason Rudolph was like unpopular and then became an icon is because he like looked different from the other reindeer, so they made fun of him, but then they realized he was actually like really useful. But then Rusty's problem is that not only he's just not useful, not only is he not useful, he like messes things up for everyone because he's really accident prone.
Yeah, he's clumsy. It's just like every like 90s Disney protagonist. It's like, oh, he's clumsy and that's why he doesn't fit in. Wow. Never seen that before.
Yeah, but then you think it's like, okay, but then at least he has like a good heart, or he's likable, or he has other traits that make him useful. It's like, no, there's nothing to Rusty. He is not special. That's why you forgot his name and thought it was Rufus or some stupid shit like that, because he's not very memorable of a character.
Even the characters who, as a favor, try to make a song about him to make him more popular, like the best that they can come up with is, oh, he has big ears.
Yeah.
That's his most redeeming quality.
Oh yeah,
he's just a nothing character.
I don't even remember that. Oh yeah, I don't even remember that. Again, even
that's the song the guys with the pumpkin heads sang.
The Pumpkinhead sang.
I couldn't even make out the lyrics.
I can't remember a melody. I can't remember any of it.
I don't remember the melody either, but I remember it was just a song about how he has big ears.
Which he doesn't. Does he? Does he have big ears?
He doesn't. Yeah.
They're like average for a reindeer. They're bigger than human ears, but
they're not that big.
He looks he looks no different than any other reindeer character in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just very generic.
Yeah.
At one point, his nose does this weird thing where it like glows blue for a second and glows yellow and green for a second, and I was like, "Wait, does he have some sort of special?" But they never explain it.
No.
Or do anything with that.
Because he can't get it to glow consistently, and so yeah, I guess it's supposed to be a joke, like, oh, his brother has the glowing nose, so he has other genetics that make his nose glow other colors. And then, they don't do anything with that. It's just kind of a throwaway joke.
Yeah, I honestly completely forgot about that. Oh, yeah, can we talk about the John O'Hurley character who's just like a mall Santa who wants to be an actor?
Yeah.
And then it's like, for some reason, they just like dick around with him for 10 minutes instead of like chasing after the kid. It's like, I'm gonna teach you how to be an actor. It's like, what was the point of that? Why did they do that?
I don't know, but I like the joke where he was like, I am a thespian, and Rusty's like, huh, my aunt Roberta was one of those.
Yeah, I think I've heard that joke before in something though, so it's not even like,
Okay.
I don't think it's original to this.
I feel like I have heard that before too, but I can't remember it either.
Yeah, same.
All I know is
But-
that this movie did not come up with it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like, what was that character doing there? Like, he didn't add anything
Is
to the
there
story.
anything this movie did come up with?
It made the first joke about a turkey going back in time that
Yeah.
I've seen.
Alright, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can we talk about the resolution to the plot where it's just like the way they save Christmas is just the kid knows how to fix their computer so they can get like the naughty and nice list again.
Yeah.
Like, that's so fucking lame.
Well, so
Like,
the whole movie, the elves are struggling with figuring out how to work a computer, which is such boomer humor where it's like, I don't understand how this internet stuff works. It's so 2006.
Oops,
Yeah.
I cannot click the book.
exactly. I don't
But
know.
yeah, I guess the kid just knows how to work a computer, but the
Yeah.
elves don't.
And it's like, well, the kid saved Christmas then. Rusty didn't do shit.
Yeah,
Like, all he did was like find the kid.
Yeah, Rusty didn't even bring him. Rusty didn't even like fly him to the North Pole. Like that could have been a thing. Like, you know, like how the story of the donkey that brought Mary and Joseph to the fucking shelter to give birth to Jesus. He gets his own story in several different versions. Like you could have done it something like that. No, Rusty didn't even do that. Like he didn't even get the important character to the important thing. He did nothing.
Yeah, they just like I forget. Wasn't it like they were gonna like mail themselves to the North Pole?
Oh
But
God,
then,
yeah.
then that didn't work, so they just like took a plane there. I don't even remember.
So
Oh, you know what though? I remember there was one joke that I did find kind of funny is when Cupid was like, hey, we can ship them in here. I'll stick a couple air holes in there with my arrow, and if I kill them, then they're dead, so it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. That was so out of pocket that kind of made me laugh.
Yeah, they're like they want to ship themselves to the North Pole, and if they say it's same day shipping, then they'll get there. And the UPS guy is just like, well, we can't ship live people and animals, like that's illegal. And then they say, well, Christmas is in danger of not happening. He's like, Christmas is in danger. Hold the fuck up. And then it hard cuts to them about to like jump out of the plane. So
yeah, but like, was that like that guy's plane? Like, does he have like a relative who owned that plane? Like, they didn't like explain that. I don't think.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
Guy.
it's supposed to be a joke, and the joke is not funny.
Yeah, that's a lot of the jokes in this movie.
Yeah, you know what? That reminds me of a joke towards the end that like it was almost funny because it's like, oh, the elves say, oh, this kid knows we're at the North Pole now. We'll have to move again. And I thought, okay, that was kind of funny. And then it cuts to the elf narrator, and he's like, hey guys, let me explain the joke. You see, we used to live at the South Pole, but then a kid found us, and so now we moved to the North Pole. So if that kid found us, we would have to move again. And it's like, wow, you made the joke unfunny. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks for explaining it. Exactly.
That elf narrator is one of the worst narrators I've seen in anything.
Because he's...
I kind of laughed a little bit when he said, like, meanwhile, back at Walmart.
Yeah, because he's trying to...
And then there was, like, a really long pause after he's like, what? What are you waiting for?
Yeah, he's trying to be the smarmy, like, hey, this isn't your granddad's fucking Christmas special. We're sarcastic and self-aware. It's like, but you're not funny, so this doesn't translate well.
That running gag where he can't think of a simile is so pointless. It's like, oh, you know, Rusty was as sad as a like longest pause ever. Like, haha, the joke is that the movie is bad.
Yeah.
What, are the writers on strike or something?
Oh boy, yeah. There was some weird like there was like some weird cutaways. Like it's like, hey, there's a this is like a chicken laying a chocolate egg, and then just cuts to a chicken trying to lay an egg, and then it's not chocolate.
Yeah,
and
it's like a chicken's.
Like, that's the joke.
Yeah, the chicken's drinking like chocolate milk, and then it lays an egg, but it's a normal egg.
Yeah, it's like that's a joke.
It's like
they make like Family Guy cutaways look like high art.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing here?
I can think of plenty of Family Guy cutaways where I'm like, oh, that's a joke. I understand
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the
just,
weird
like,
part about this
projected
movie.
versions of that.
There's so many comedic actors in this movie that are normally really funny. Like Fred Willard plays Santa, and I thought that was going to be a fun character, and then he does nothing in the movie. Like Santa plays no part in the movie. You could cut him out completely and it wouldn't change.
Yeah. Like, I honestly forgot he was in the movie for most of it.
Which is a shame because Fred Willard, one of the funniest people ever, and he just doesn't say anything funny.
Yeah.
So the synopsis for this movie on IMDb says Rusty Reindeer stumbles into a support group where the Easter Bunny, Cupid, and other down and out holiday icons congregate, but it's like not even very much of the movie.
Yeah, that's like a quarter of the movie. That's not the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then they kind of like disappear towards the middle, except for the turkey. Like, the turkey goes to like help him, and then the other ones kind of are just gone.
And they kind of abandon the whole anonymous support group premise because they're like, at first they're like, oh, no, we can't say our names. And then they just give up on that entirely.
Yeah, they just say Turkey and Cupid and Rusty. Yeah, that literally does not matter. The turkey is another wasteful actor, like Harlan Williams, one of the funniest people alive. And he doesn't really say anything that funny throughout the movie, which is a real shame because he's really funny in Meet the Robinsons. Remember, he's the robot in Meet the Robinsons.
Oh yeah.
Whereas here he's just like, oh, I'm the turkey. I'm afraid during Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's like the only thing I laughed at with him was again, just the time machine thing, which is not to this movie's credit.
Yeah, exactly.
You could be watching Freebirds.
I know, I could have been watching Freebirds.
The funniest part about this movie isn't even due to the movie actually having something funny to say. It's accidentally funny because of a movie that came out 7 years later.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, I don't know. I just occasionally, like, there's like the occasional funny joke, like 1 in every 20 jokes I'd say is kind of funny, but like, which is better than a lot of other movies can average, but like it's not like extremely funny. It's just like, I chuckled. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, this movie has worse songs than The Hunchback of Notre Dame too.
Ooh, really?
Yes.
That's well, I mean, to be fair, I don't remember any of the songs.
I don't remember any of the songs.
He's fallen in love.
No, that's from Hunchback too.
Sorry.
I meant from Holidaze.
I remember one song, and that was the song that Rusty sings when he's like, I want to fly to and be in the sky, and maybe someday that'll be me who's up there flying. I want to fly, but I can only like jump a foot off the ground.
I don't remember this at all.
I'm impressed you've remembered all the lyrics. Wow, even when it's a bad musical, you remember things.
That's my summary of the lyrics. I don't think those are the actual lyrics.
You remembered them more than I did.
Yeah, me too. I like when he has that like song when he's like leaving home and then he just like has a flashback of like things that happened like 5 minutes ago. Yeah. Like he'll just like there's a cloud near him and it'll just like play scenes that we just saw from 5 minutes ago. It's like, damn, thank you for reminding me of those. I forgot about them.
Oh, that annoys me so much when movies do that, where they're just like, remember this scene that happened 5 seconds ago?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I was just consistently baffled by this movie's existence. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Me neither.
Bold take.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is. I was talking to William about this, how because he saw that all of us watched it, and he's just like, wow, I'm glad I didn't get to watch this. And I was like, yeah, it's this year's Surviving Christmas. It's a bad Christmas movie that I just randomly had, and I wanted to show off to see if it would be funny bad, but no, it's just bad. It's
I will never watch this again.
Yeah. So consider you two lucky. You watched a movie that William will never have to watch. I'd never have to force William to watch this now.
Woo! Hooray!
You're welcome, William.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, I'm obviously getting rid of this DVD. It's not funny. I tried watching the special features, like I said earlier, and it was kind of depressing because the people were just like, yeah, we're making this new Christmas special in 2006. And I'm like, Uh-huh.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and they even interview the fucking composer who is the composer from High School Musical. That's what the fucking DVD
What?
advertises.
No way.
Oh, you didn't know. Yeah.
Huh.
So
I would never have guessed.
the composer of this movie also worked on the smash hit High School Musical. It's like, huh.
What?
Is that how they got like Disney Channel stars to be in it?
I guess so, even though
Right, the song is for this.
I don't know.
he was working very hard on High School Musical, and then I don't know, I guess a friend was just like, hey, can you quickly write some songs for this holiday special we're working on? He's like, yeah, okay, and then did it in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that checks out.
But he
Yeah,
put all his
like-
effort into High School Musical, obviously.
Whoa,
Oh
true.
yeah, wait, I said the only song I remembered was Rusty singing about how he wanted to fly and be in the sky, but I just remembered there's two more. The one with the Pumpkinhead singing about his big ears, and the one with the other Halloween band guys screaming like it was supposed to be sort of a metal song, but you couldn't hear any of the lyrics.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's metal. It's a metal song written by somebody who doesn't know what metal is.
Yeah.
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 Wasn't there like a licensed song in there somewhere? Like you were complaining about that at one point?
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah. I don't know. This movie sucks.
Bold, but true. It's true. It's not even funny bad. I can't even bring myself to be like, well, it's kind of funny in this. No, it's just not funny, and I'm not keeping it. So I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah. Man.
So yeah, Holidaze. I'm glad I forced you to watch this completely forgettable movie.
Yep. Wow. What an experience. I'll always remember it.
I watched it last night and I forgot the main character's name.
Yeah. Same.
If that doesn't sum it up, I don't know what will.
Yep.
All right. Well, why don't you guys shout out your stuff? Because it's the end of the episode. That's about time when we do that.
Yeah. You can go first.
Okay, I have a YouTube channel called Lavender Whale, and I have a Blue Sky called Lavender Whaley. I don't really use my Twitter anymore, so that's about it.
Yeah.
I make YouTube poops and AMVs. I just released like 2 Hell's Paradise AMVs. So, yeah.
Yep. And as for me, you can just Google like funny Crabman and you'll probably find me. I don't know. And yeah, I have Twitter, Blue Sky, Letterboxd, the whole shebang. So yep, just find me there.
All right, great. Well, thank you two for coming on, talk about Year Without a Santa Claus and Holidaze, the Christmas that almost was. This was an episode about about Christmases that almost didn't happen, but then they happened anyway.
Yep, they sure did.
Yep.
The writers are cowards.
Yeah, they're cowards, exactly. So, all right, goodbye, everybody. We'll see you all next time.